great privilege to be with you on this occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Young people, not so young people, actually trust the influencers more than other channels of communication or education. What I think is also necessary is to sort out the real ones from the fraud.
Does ECB simply advise, encourage the national efforts, or do you also set expectation and hold central banks accountable for taking concrete actions in this matter of financial literacy?
If you were an influencer trying to make a real difference in the lives of Portuguese families, what would you do to earn the recognition of institutions and be seen as part of the solution?
So you're asking me to put myself in your shoes?
Yeah. President Lagarde, thank you so much for joining us today. First of all, we want to thank you and your team for making this conversation happen. It shows a real willingness to get closer to the people who are directly impacted by the ECB's work. And honestly, it also shows courage and a desire to do things differently. You could have chosen, like many still do, to speak only within institutional circles, but instead you chose to break that formality. That says a lot about your openness and vision.
Well, thank you so much.
That's true. So it's an honor for us to be here talking with you. We're going to start with the ECB rules in financial literacy. So everyone's agreed that financial literacy matters, and the more informed citizens makes the ECB's jobs easier.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that the ECB has set financial literacy as a strategic priority. But can you tell us, does ECB simply advise, encourage the national efforts, or do you also set expectation and hold central banks accountable for taking concrete actions in this matter of financial literacy?
Well, thank you so much. And it's really a pleasure to be with the two of you and to address those serious issues. And I will tackle my response in two ways.
Okay.
One is, what do we do on the ground? And then what can we do as the central institution that is the ECB? So on the ground, we are talking about 21 member states. Bulgaria is about to join, so I said 21.
Wow.
And we're talking about 350 million people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge amount of people.
Yeah.
And the work can only be discharged as close as possible to the people and in their language.
Yeah.
Because you have multiple languages spoken between Portuguese and Finnish, between French and German, between Italian and Latvian. There are multiple differences. Language, culture, geography. So the best position to provide the financial literacy support are the national central banks that are part of the euro system, of which the ECB is the center.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what many of them do.
Okay.
So what we, and I'm moving now to what the ECB does, what we did last March the 8th, we launched a challenge to the National Central Bank, all of them, and we said, will you sign up to provide financial literacy? And in particular, will you focus on women's financial literacy? Because it's one where there is the most urgent need. And many of them said, hand up, yes, I'll do it.
Okay.
So that's really good. The second thing we do, which is also financial literacy, we have a visitor center in Frankfurt at the main building of the ECB, which tells you a lot about the history of the euro, how it functions, financial literacy basics, how you manage a budget, how interest rates are set, how you should choose a mortgage, all these things.
Okay.
And then we have various podcasts ourselves. I think the one that is probably most related to what you're talking about is the Espresso podcast that we have, which is available on a regular basis and addresses matters that can be of interest and that are explained in the most simple way so that we don't use sophisticated, complicated jargon to explain simple things.
Yeah, that's really important. To simplify the words that we use in order to everyone understand it. And from our experience engaging with the public, the financial literacy programs implemented by the financial supervision institutions, as for example, like here in Portugal, we have Todos Contam. It's the financial literacy program that we have here. But we can see that this program, at least in Portugal, is not widely known, or at least their concrete impact is unclear to most people. Can you tell us what's the ECB perception of this?
I will draw the comparison with our monetary policy. Because you can present monetary policy with a highly sophisticated 4 or 5 pages monetary policy statement, which requires 5 or 6 years of higher education to be understood. Or you can present exactly the same decisions, but in a much more simple way. And that's what our communication team does. Every time we make a decision, they present it in such a way that even somebody with a limited higher education will understand instantly. And to give you a final example, because we just reviewed our strategy and produced an assessment, we asked a cartoonist to actually produce cartoons that describe what we're doing. And honestly, my hope that one of these days we can even produce video games which will explain people, why we decide monetary policy in such a way, or how you can manage a budget, or why you would go for a fixed interest rate mortgage or a variable interest rate mortgage. Because that can be turned into something that is much more lively, palatable, and that can be a game.
Talking about this simplification and getting to the people, let's talk about the rising of financial influencers. That is an agent in this ecosystem of education. In Portugal, institutions like Bank of Portugal and CMVM have been urging people to follow licensed and trustworthy sources, to learn about financial education. Yet at the same time, we are seeing growing public trust in influencers, especially in platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. How does ECB sees the growing of influencers and the perceived credibility of these influencers? And if you think that it is important to have a kind of financial educator certification in the European level?
Well, I look at the market and I look at all classes of age. And what is clear at the moment is that young people, not so young people actually trust the influencers more than other channels of communication or education, more traditional ones. So it's a fact. That's the reality that we are living with. So I think we are doing the right thing in reaching out to you as influencers so that we can have a dialogue and we can discuss those issues, which are serious matters. What I think is also necessary is to sort out the real ones from the fraud. Because we have seen cases, this has certainly been the case in the United Kingdom, where many shops were shut down because they were fraudulent advisors, and sometimes they were abusing the trust that people had. So that's where we stand. We will reach out, we will talk, we will use different channels, different media, but we want to do it with reliable people.
Yeah, and that's a challenge for the common people to distinguish what is a fraud and what is real and honest. Can I make you a challenge?
Sure.
If you were an influencer trying to make a real difference in the lives of Portuguese families, what would you do to earn the recognition of institutions and be seen as part of the solution?
So you're asking me to put myself in your shoes?
Yeah.
As
It's a kind of a challenge.
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, you should be transparent.
Okay.
And institutions should know where you draw your resources from, how you are organized as a business, what terms and conditions you offer to your subscribers, whether you indicate very clearly that you are not providing financial investment advice, for instance. So I think that's what I would do. Be transparent, be forthcoming about what you actually do and what you don't do. And provide you sources. I think that's also an important consideration, because obviously the information that you offer to your listeners or to your watchers, you draw it from what you read, what you know, who you interview. And I think disclosing your sources is an important thing.
Thank you for the advice, because it's one of our challenge to put ourselves in the service of the institutions to make real difference in the Portuguese life. So heading to the end of this conversation, if you had to give just one piece of financial advice to someone in their 30s, trying to make a smart decision for their family, what would it be?
Number one, I don't give investment advice, but I think as a general principle, and that's an advice that I received myself from a family member, is diversify your investment. And that's the principle of hedging, which applies, across any categories of assets. That's what I would say. Yeah. And I would say trust but verify.
Okay.
So when somebody gives you an advice or somebody presents to you a product that supposedly is going to generate huge returns, verify, double check. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really important in this nowadays world. Yeah.
Okay. So you can end the conversation.
So thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
And for helping us make these topics a little more human and relatable. We hope to keep building the bridge between institutions like ECB and Bank of Portugal and the everyday people who look to us and to you for clarity. Thank you so much, President Lagarde.
This was a great
pleasure.
pleasure.
For your time.
Great privilege to be with you on this occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Boa tarde.
Boa tarde.